Today we're diving into a genealogical detective story. We're going to try to solve a 200-year-old puzzle that all started with a single name found in an old will. Sook. This is a story about finding a piece of a family's history that was thought to be lost forever.
I mean, think about it. That's the real challenge here. For centuries, enslaved people were legally considered property, not people. Their names, their families, their stories, they were often left out of the official records, creating this huge silent gap. This is the story of how one family fought to break through that silence to find their ancestor.
And right there, that's the heart of it all. This isn't just about digging through dusty records. It's a deeply personal quest, driven by a researcher named Delbra. It's that feeling, that gut instinct that said, this is her. And that's what kicked off this entire incredible journey. So, before we can even start to follow the clues, we have to understand just how hard this kind of research is. We need to look at the massive 200-year-old brick wall that stood in the way for generations of families trying to find their roots. Okay, this is an absolutely critical point. You have to understand the legal distinction here. Indentured servitude, while harsh, was basically a temporary contract. There was an end date, a promise of freedom. But chattel slavery, that was a whole different thing. It was a lifelong, hereditary trap. Your status as property was passed down to your children and their children, completely erasing individual identities and making it almost impossible to trace a family line.
In this timeline, this shows one of the biggest reasons why those family lines got so broken. As the U.S. expanded west, enslavers got land grants and moved to new territories. And when they moved, they forcibly took enslaved people with them. This wasn't just a migration. It was a systematic tearing apart of families, scattering them across the country and destroying any paper trail that might have ever existed. So you've got this 200-year-old wall. How in the world do you break through it? Well, you use a total game changer: genetic genealogy. This is where modern science meets old-fashioned detective work.
The main technique that powers this whole investigation is called triangulation. Now think of it like this. It's like finding two distant cousins you've never met, and they each have a piece of an old family photo that you're missing. If you can prove that their pieces match your piece, you can finally put the whole picture together and see the face of the common ancestor you all share.
All right, so every investigation needs a starting point, right? These are the solid facts that Delbra started with. She knew her family tree included the surnames Hannah and Wiggum, and she knew they were from a specific place, Jefferson, Georgia. These are the anchors for the whole DNA search.
And then, the first breakthrough happens. A DNA cousin, a woman named Crystal, pops up. And get this, Crystal's family tree also connects to the exact same surnames Hannah and Wiggum in the exact same town, Jefferson, Georgia. Suddenly, a pattern is starting to emerge. And just when you think it can't get any clearer, boom, the case gets even stronger. A third DNA cousin, Rodney, shows up with the exact same pattern. He shares DNA with both Delbra and Crystal, and his own family research points straight back to the Hannah and Wiggum families in Jefferson, Georgia. We're talking 3 separate family lines all pointing to the same people in the same place.
Okay, so the DNA gives us a pin on the map. It's telling us Jefferson, Georgia is the place. So what's the next step? You have to go back to the archives. And tragically, for enslaved people, the most consistent paper trail that existed was in the records of their enslavers.
And this is where the paper trail just starts to line up perfectly. It starts in Maryland with a will from a man named Baker Johnson. He leaves an enslaved woman named Sook to his daughter, Caroline. Caroline then marries into the Graham family. The Grahams, it turns out, are connected to another family, the Rosses. And here's the kicker. Both the Graham and the Ross families pack up and move from Maryland directly to, you guessed it, Jefferson, Georgia, the exact location the DNA pointed to.
All right, so let's put it all together now. This is the moment where all the threads, the modern DNA evidence and the historical paper trail start to weave together and form a really powerful, really compelling theory of the case.
Just look at how all these puzzle pieces lock into place. The will gives us Sook's name and her enslaver in Maryland. The family records show this interconnected web of enslaver families, the Johnsons, Grahams, and Rosses, and tracks their migration right to Jefferson, Georgia. At the same time, the DNA triangulation proves that Delbra, Crystal, and Rodney all share ancestors from that exact same town, linked to the Hannah and Wiggum names. And then, the final link. A record is found connecting the Hannah name directly to the Ross family line. It all fits.
But what's so amazing is what Delbra herself says. This incredible breakthrough, isn't the end of the story, not by a long shot. It's a group effort, it's ongoing. Every new piece of information that's shared, every new DNA match, just helps make the picture clearer and the data stronger. This is a puzzle that's being solved together.
And really, that just leaves you with this one big thought. This whole incredible journey, all of this work, it started with a single name, Sook, found in a 200-year-old document. It just makes you wonder, with the tools we have now, and this kind of passionate research, how many other lost histories, how many other fractured families are just out there, waiting to finally be uncovered and pieced back together?